Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining us in this edition of The Inside. I am Babla Jonathan. Today we are zooming in on Nsongwa in the Bamenda 2 subdivision in the northwest region of Cameroon. It is one of the communities that have suffered the severe effects of the security instability in the northwest and southwest regions of the country as a result of the close to 10-year-long armed conflict raging over there, emanating from the decades-old Anglophone problem. We are looking at the state of affairs in Nsongwa today. We are looking through the lenses of the traditional authority of Nsongwa to see just how the community is faring today, some of the challenges on ground in terms of security, in terms of development, in terms of infrastructural development of that part of the northwest region. We are looking at these issues and also looking at the efforts being made so far by the traditional administration and other elite of that part of the northwest region to enhance development in a context of instability. And I must tell you that the traditional leader of Nsongwa is one of those traditional leaders who have stayed in their palaces for as long as the crisis has been on. He's been out of the palace for some months, but he spent much of the time in the palace. We're going to find out from him how he's been managing to navigate the security issues to stay in his palace and not move out like many other traditional leaders of the two crisis-stricken regions of the country. Stay with us and meet our guest in some few seconds. You're welcome back. Our guest is His Royal Majesty FONGWADE III of Nsongwa, joining us today in this edition of The Inside. Your Majesty, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jonathan. I am so proud that you can visit with your team the modest palace we have in Douala, offered to us by one of our sons from Bamlekeland, who has given us this place for more than 5 years now. We've been in this place free of charge for more than 5 years. And so thank you for coming in. And we periodically come down to rest and do a few traditional and developmental issues with the people of Nsongwa, a star village in Douala.
All right, you're going to tell us more about that. But first of all, I want to know more about this, your son from the Bamlekeland, the fun of Nsongwa, having a son in the Bamlekeland.
Yes, this young man, we call him Mentor Power Fidel. When I came out of the palace for a short while, for a brief rest in Douala, I stayed in one of the apartments in this his building. And at the end of it, he saw who I am and fell in love with me, and then offered me this place. And that anytime I come to Douala, let me stay with him. And so that is how this thing came about. And I visited him back home for what you're talking about, national unity and peace building. We have visited his own fund and other leaders of the Bamlekeland to make unity and love with them through his generous gift to us.
How is Nsongwa today? What is the state of affairs in Nsongwa today?
Nsongwa, we are really proud of it because we took the throne of Nsongwa. I say we because the throne is an institution owned by many, not the fund alone. We took the throne
of the people.
When our father was very old, and we committed ourselves to develop. And we have taken the village from no roads to some roads, almost all, linking all the quarters, from no pipe-borne water to every household, from no electricity anywhere in the village to electricity to every household, except those who don't want to connect to their households, which very few are there like that. So we have given the village a palace befitting. This is what we are on now, to give our village a befitting palace. So we started with giving development and other social amenities to our people, and now we want to focus on the palace. So today we are very stable. When the crisis started, my brother, I called my quarter heads and I told them, by revelation, let nobody leave the village. The same way, everybody is packing, all other villages are packing away. Why do you want us to stay and die? I said, nobody will be killed in Nsongwa. When I want to tell you now, it's as if it's a joke. Nobody outrightly has died in this crisis in Nsongwa. Outrightly. We don't have any record of any amber from Nsongwa. We have no burning of any house in Nsongwa within the crisis. I have asked people to verify. No house has been burned within the crisis in Nsongwa. You go to other villages, you see gunshots on the walls. None of those is found in Nsongwa. Many of those who were disobedient and carried their things away, they came back crying and say, had we known. There was one of us who was a lawyer who carried his things even to Bamenda town, and he was kidnapped almost every month. Then I asked him, but what are you doing in town? Come home under the shelter of our tradition and our gods of the village. And he came back, and from that day he came back to the village. He had never been kidnapped again. So we are really stable. We are growing steadily, but unfortunately the means are limited because of the crisis.
Yeah, so the means are limited because of the crisis. This is one of the consequences of the impact of the crisis on the village that has brought about some kind of economic stagnation. Tell us more about how much the village has been affected by this crisis.
We are a local community depending on our own strength, our own financial means to develop ourselves. We've been like that for long. That is how our ancestors laid the foundation of the village, on love, development, and unity. We've been working like that for quite some time. And because of the crisis, since our people are farmers, they work more cassava and make bobolo for marketing. That is their main product. The men are more on farming for fruit trees, guavas, pears, mangoes. Those are the things we supply to the Bamenda city. And sand and stone quarry. So because of the crisis, our roads were completely abandoned. And because of the heavy-duty trucks that are carrying the sand and stone from us, the roads became so worse that movement became so difficult. And you know, because of the ghost towns, the gunshots across, you can't move easily. So most of the marketing was stopped. And so way of contribution had really been a very big problem to us for our development. So we've been managing through the little we can manage to grab and do the little we can do to continue having some development within our village.
The gunshots and the insecurity, the kidnapping, from what you just said, were taking place around Nsongwa, not in Nsongwa, around Nsongwa, and so that prevented a lot of activities between Nsongwa and the other communities or Bamenda, because definitely in such a situation people will not easily move from one place to the other to do business. Is that what you're saying?
That is exactly it. The gunshots, few of them not completely absent from Nsongwa. The ambers strayed into Nsongwa, but the peaceful atmosphere of the community will not allow them to stay with us. When I tell you nobody, it's not as if Amber had never come to Nsongwa. They came, they stayed in some houses. But the bee and the forces that came to send them out, remove what they can have and burn outside. They didn't burn any house in Nsongwa. The gods of the land, our ancestors, and the God Almighty has always protected and prevented any mishaps in Nsongwa. Nsongwa people love peace. They avoid violence in all its ramifications. And so, because of that, peace is following us. And that is how we have come to this level today. And we are proud to say that we've got almost no violence in Nsongwa. Those who lose their life in Nsongwa, 2 or 3, were because, what we say in quotes, the fly follows the corpse to the grave.
Stubbornness.
Stubbornness.
They did not listen to the traditional leader, to their authorities. Why? What happened? Why the few persons who, I want to say, went astray?
Well, nobody can say you can have a perfect community. Some people are heady. Even the people God chose to be his people, some people became heady and lose their lives and even entire families because of disobedience. And so it happened also in all communities as well as in Nsongwa.
Your Majesty, I want to know how you managed to put the people together in the same direction. Was it just the revelation that you told them, okay, this is a revelation that I'm bringing to you now, nobody should leave, nobody's going to die? Is that all? How did you manage to get the people to be fully persuaded about what you said and to follow your instructions?
Nobody obeys somebody they don't trust. I've been working with the people from 2000 when I was officially crowned as a FON, and we organized our village in quarters. And I've been meeting with the quarter heads regularly and giving them instructions and telling them things this sin happened. And so this is one of them that I told them. It's not the first one that I've told them. So we have been working together, and they have seen things going on the way we have planned, and we have been doing them. So that is why they were able to obey this other one. It's not because it was the first and the only. It was because it is a long journey of working together. So we have been doing like that. And in our village, the quarters meet weekly to pull the people together and bring minds to one and bring understanding and other things that we can work together. Then monthly, I meet with all the quarter heads meets last Saturday of every month, the quarter heads by themselves. So weekly, the quarters meet with their quarter heads. Monthly, the quarter heads meet together. And once in 6 months, the quarter heads come to meet with me in the palace to give me their what they have been doing through the months, and to get more instruction on what to do. And so this unity and love and always coming together has brought us this far. It is not a one-day affair. Thank you.
That's very interesting, Your Majesty. I think what you've been doing should be extrapolated to, why not, the entire republic in terms of governance of the country, because it is important to keep people together in order for your vision of leadership to bear fruit, the fruits that are so much desired. And of course, now, Your Majesty, I want to know from you, you're one of the traditional leaders who stayed in his palace longer than many others throughout this period of security instability. You've been in your palace. Like you mentioned earlier, you were out of your palace for some few months and you went back. How are you managing to navigate the security instability to stay in your palace and not escape, like, let me not use the word escape, and not move away like many others have done?
Thank you very much. It's a big one. Many people have questioned that silently and openly. Even administration have been worried about it. But the starting point was in 2016 when I was officially sent home for retirement. I was working with research in Bambui, Irad Bambui, and May 2016 was my official retirement date, and I went home. Around November, December, the crisis started. Then I asked myself, why did this crisis wait until I go on retirement? I will stay home. That's the starting point of it. I will stay home. God will not, for any reason on earth, ask me to come home and then run away. If he knew that the crisis would be very dangerous for me, he should not have allowed me to come home then. And so I came home and I decided to stay home from there. That is the starting point of it all. And because I trust the ancestors of my land, I trust the gods of Nsongwa, and I am a devoted Christian by action, I trust God will take care. And I stayed. And I asked my people to stay. From there, as days are going back, there was no much danger posed to me. Ambas have taken me to their camps once or twice, but when we interact, they see no evil in me and they allow me to go home.
When they took you to their camp, what did they tell you? What were they asking you?
They were questioning me of who I am, why am I doing what I'm doing, and so on and so forth. They took my phone and saw some elites, especially a politician's number, on my phone, and they were saying that, you see, you are not working with them, you are working with them. I said, no, those are my children. If you born a child that is a thief, he still remains your child. If he's a politician, he's your son and daughter. So why should I delete their numbers? If I do that, means I'm hiding something. If I allow it and I've given you the phone, means I am not hiding anything. They are children of Nsongwa. Check their record. Or children of Cameroon. And by and large, the fund is not supposed to be limited only to Nsongwa. So if you see any other one, it's because of personal relationship. So that is how I answer them. And I say, check my record and see who I am. And I'm open man. You will never see anything evil in me. So they had nothing to do than to allow me go.
Before we continue, I just want to be sure that we are understanding exactly what you're saying. Because when you said earlier that if you give birth to a child and the child is a thief, it's still your child. And then you went further to say if you give birth to a child is a politician, it's still your child. I want to be sure that we are getting you correctly. You're not saying that politicians are thieves.
No, I did not relate that to a politician. I mean, because they saw politicians' names on my phone and they were asking me. So I related it that way to make them understand that what is your son or your daughter remains your son or daughter. Not that politicians are thieves. No, I don't. I am a politician myself.
All right. I wanted to be sure that you're a politician, Your Majesty. Are you not supposed to be a political?
I am a politician, not practicing politics. So funds are politicians, but because of one reason or other, we are not allowed by our office to practice politics. That is exactly what we mean by being a politician, a political. It's not that we are not politicians. We are politicians. When we speak, you know that we are speaking politics too. When we act, you know we are acting politics. And so, but we should not align with political parties because our communities are made of different political parties. If you now align with one, the other ones will feel cheated or abandoned. So that's why
it will bring division in the community.
That's why we have been asked not to be politicians or to practice politics. They call it apolitica. So it is just that, not that we are not politicians.
Okay. Your Majesty, I want to ask you a very straightforward question now. Are you collaborating with Amber Boys, separatist fighters, to guarantee your safety in your palace all this while, throughout the crisis, while some of your peers have gone out of the village and they are still out till now. Some have returned. Are you collaborating with separatist fighters?
I like that question. Once in my reign, one of my senior divisional officers asked me a question similar to this. Do you know the Amber Boys? And I answered him, they are my sons and daughters. I will not distance myself from them. But what I know, and I was born to know and believe, is what Nsongwa stands for. What the ancestors of our land laid as a foundation for Nsongwa people. We don't want anything that soils your hand with blood. Because in Nsongwa, we don't have anything that will ever cleanse that. If we go back to the Bible, you see the man called David was a warrior, despite the fact that he was empowered by God. But at the end of his life, God refused that he can't build a temple for him because he soiled his hands with blood. So when you soil your hands with blood, you can't cleanse it. There is no thing that will ever cleanse it. So in Nsongwa, we have refused and will continue to refuse anything that will harm a human being. So I can never, for any reason on earth, support anybody that would be killed, because I will never help him to cleanse. Somehow, for excitement, few Nsongwa people joined Amber. And in our prayers at our shrines, we say these children should come out. We never said a word to any of them. They should come out because Nsongwa foundation was not laid on blood, on fighting. We are not violent people. Where are you going to with this kind of things? And so when we pray and pray overnight, pray all night, pray midnight, the gods of our land heard, God Almighty heard, and released some of those guys who stayed with us in the village with no problem. They left Amber camps, came back and stayed as normal people. Some left the village and went out of town to other areas. And so we can't be collaborating with Ambers and then taking out our own. We were almost at one time the only village that had no Amber. And it was a small problem.
Where was it a problem?
Okay, it was a problem because at times the Amber people or the people in the village also will be feeling that because we don't have, we will be attacked. And at times the Amber boys will be feeling that no Nsongwa man is with the Ambers. It means there is something wrong somewhere. But because it was from the gods of the land, from our ancestral line, because it was from God Almighty, we were not afraid and nothing wrong happened to us.
Your Majesty, you know that there is something, you must have heard about it. Some people being qualified as blacklegs. Some people being qualified. Some of us from the northwest and southwest regions being qualified as blacklegs because of the fact that they have taken a position similar to your position, the position that rejects violence, that rejects killing, rejects the way of the gun, not necessarily ignoring or rejecting the problem, but saying that this is not the way. It's not by killing that will solve any problem. It's not by shedding human blood that we're going to solve the problem. And such people have been qualified as blacklegs. Are some of your sons and daughters from Nsongwa not being qualified as blacklegs? Are they not seen as betrayers of the cause? I mean, the cause for an independent Ambazonian state.
Thank you for these beautiful questions. I want to relate that to something that happened to my person. At one point, social media portrayed me as having organized the bee to come and burn a market in my area of the other neighboring village. And it went social media. And my children, who are part of television and radio houses, were struggling to defend. And I told them, stop the noise. God will defend it. The truth shall set you free. That is it. All along, it is very difficult to live in that hostile environment without being accused as blackleg or middling with the ambers. But neither ways, both the government or the administration and the ambers have found my hands clean after thorough investigations. And because I am bold enough to stay home, they wonder aloud, what kind of a person is this? And most of the time when they come to me, even the ambers call me blackleg. I say, find out. I am one of the villages in the area there that has a lot of land matters, even before the Amber crisis. And that is one of the reasons why my elites did everything for me to leave home for the short time, 2 months or so that I stayed out. It's because of the neighboring land crisis. They may use that as a stepping stone and then harm me. And I told them, the land is the land, and the crisis is the crisis. So this accusation of calling people blacklegs, you don't need to defend yourself. Most of the time, the biggest weapon we used was prayers against anything that will harm us or will disturb our village. The biggest was prayer, not noise making. Most of the people have problems because of noise making. I will never say anything against the ambers. I will never say anything against the bee. But I am calm and prayerful that these things should not escalate to an unbearable level. And since my voice is being heard by my people, the Bible says it clearly. Your voice is heard by your sheep, and you know the voice of your sheep.
Your sheep know your voice.
They know my own voice. And so when you talk, they hear. The talk, I hear. And because of that understanding, I can pray for them, and God will answer all of us. And so the ambers have turned me upside down, and they have not seen any place on my leg that is black. So I am not qualified to be called a black leg. And so I am still living happily so in my community. Thank you.
This is very interesting. And now we're going to talk further about your visits around the northwest region of the country. But before we do that, I want us to go to the newsstands now. And we are looking at what the newspapers reported this week. We'll be right back in a short while after the press review. Cameroon Tribune reports that the Minister of Women's Empowerment and the Family, Professor Marie-Thérèse Abena-Ondoise, condemned moral decadence online, highlighting the wayward and immoral behavior of young girls on social media. The Guardian post, armed conflict in northwest and southwest, fresh killings and abductions, rubbish government's claim of return to normalcy. According to the paper, the blood littering and coughing guns that have tainted life across the northwest and southwest regions since October 2016 seem to have died down, but the tragedies continue to hit communities. Several persons continue to be killed and others abducted by separatist hoodlums masquerading as Anglophone freedom fighters. Abductions are still common across towns and cities, while properties and businesses have remained targets of arson by Anglophone freedom fighters turned oppressors. In another issue, the Guardian Post puts forth the question: Bia's brief long stay abroad. Who is lying? Who is telling the truth? Jeune Afrique. Bia hospitalized in Geneva clinic after malaise at Unity Palace on National Day. Renee Sadi, not admitted in any medical facility, monitoring state affairs with diligence. Mvondo Ayolo, Biya has never been hospitalized. Those waiting for his demise may die before him. Honorable O.C. Joshua, if sick, should return and use country's health facilities. Barrister Alice Com, long unjustified stay warrants automatic dismissal from office. Honorable Ninche, Constitutional Council should declare vacancy at the helm of the state. Professor Famendongo, no vacancy. Stop demonizing the man who has dedicated his life to serve the nation. Gregoire Owona, Biya on annual leave. He informed his employers, Cameroonians, before traveling. Honorable Cabral Libi, government not obliged to justify absence. There is a legal vacuum on the number of days the president can stay abroad. The paper also takes its readers through an editorial titled Long Stay Abroad, What Ministers Defending Biya Are Not Saying. Municipal Updates reports that the President of the Republic, Paul Biya, is working for the nation unperturbed. As the Director of the Civil Cabinet at the Presidency of the Republic, Mvondo Ayolo sets records straight on Biya's Europe stay. In another issue, the Guardian Post exclaims, Biya, longest serving public servant in Cameroon. Paul Barthélemy Biya Mvondo, who joined the public service in 1962, has clocked record 64 uninterrupted years and will hit 70 years at the end of his current mandate. Municipal Update reports the fight against drug abuse by the Senior Division Officer of the Logan and Shari Division, Fonbele Matthias. Thank you for staying with us. We are still with our guest, His Royal Majesty FONGWADE III of Nsongwa in the northwest region of the country. Now, Your Majesty, you've also been going to different places around the northwest region of the country, visiting places like Baba, Benin, and all the other places around. What have you been going around to do in the midst of security tensions?
Thank you very much. The word says, the good news that you have, don't keep it for yourself. Every good news you have to share it. I am a peace-loving somebody. And everywhere I go, I carry my peace with me. And so wherever I go, I always want to make people understand that to live peacefully, first of all, with your family, to live peacefully with your neighbors, to live peacefully with everybody that you meet, because the Bible qualifies neighbor as anybody you meet at that moment. If you are in peace with that person, you are already sharing the peace that you have. So if I move around, it's for peace and sharing peace. I can remember I've gone to Baba when they were entering the young fawn of Baba, who is now growing very powerfully and beautifully so. I'm so proud of him. I went there and I discovered I was the only fawn, the whole country that was there. And I asked myself, so if I didn't come, how would this guy take himself as a king when during his enthronement no other king came there to greet his hand, to chat with him, to say one or two words with him? And I think I want to thank God because even the Baba people are happy with this. And many other persons. We've moved to Sabongari to meet the kings of Sabongari. And I tell them how I'm managing through, how I can navigate through Bomso to Sabongari. Bomso is one of the hot areas through the western region to Sabongari, where the Amba boys are always very present. But with God's always taking or leading us through, sending his angels to guide and direct us, we normally always go in and out without meeting another. When I moved to lower Bafut area, Bakong, to do one or two things from one of my elites, I met the guys and I preached peace to them. I mean the guys of that village. not the Amber Boys. When we just dropped there, we met the bee contingent that were moving to Womb. And they were very surprised. The car we used to come down there, because it was very open and small car, they were very surprised. And when I called even the king of that area, he was very surprised that I could be in village. And so I talked peace to the young men and women that we met and told them to try to live in peace. When you have peace, you don't need to shout. As you are peaceful, you are living your peace and sharing your peace, it affects even everybody. Because the beautiful thing about life is that the positive values that you have are being spread into other people without you knowing. So if you're a good person, the way you talk to people, you become favorable and you are a favor to them. You give them favor and you attract their own favor. You give them goodwill and you attract their own goodwill. You live in harmony because of the way you are doing your own things. They will also do it to you. To the peaceful, to those who are merciful, mercy is given. And so if you extend your mercy to people, mercy will be given back to you. So that is what has made me to be moving with no fear or favor anywhere. I have moved to Awing, I have moved to Pinyin land, and most time I come back late in the night. Nsongwa village has been one of those villages that has intervened or interacted with most of the new kings that have come up to in the northwest region. When they are crowning them, we are always there, almost every day, to show our love and unity and to share peace the way we are living peacefully. So you don't go there and say, you must send out all the ambers, we must do this. No. Just be peaceful. Be peaceful. Love even your enemy. And you will see the love coming out of you, and he will want to love you back.
Of course, the Bible says, love your enemies and pray for those who hate you.
Good. That is exactly what we are doing. And you don't go and say, you are a very bad boy, you die, you this and that. No, we don't do that. So, unfortunately, many people see this one soft, too soft. They see this one too weak in a hostile environment. But that is what is making us succeed. By naturally being good. Not doing good. That is difference, being good than doing good. But you can never be good without doing good.
The two work together.
The two work together very closely. So being good is better than doing good, because you can do good with wrong intention. But if you are good, you will do good.
All right, Your Majesty, tell us about the future of Nsongwa land as far as security is concerned.
Nsongwa is a very secured village, but we only know about security relying on our ancestors. Ancestors, when we talk about ancestral worship, it is what brings fear to the community. They will know the way our fathers laid the foundation of the village. And you know that when you tilt away from it, you are in trouble. So now, at maturity, because we're going to celebrate our maturity soon. In December, we're already on celebration because it's a year our celebration. We're already celebrating. And we are reminding everybody, as matured as we are today, you need to toe the line. Live the way our ancestors laid the foundation, or you carry curses, the wrath of our gods on you. If you want to go away from the norms, you are in trouble by yourself. You attract trouble to yourself and to your family and generations. That is what we call ancestral worship. Many people talk about it, but they don't know exactly what it means. So ancestral worship brings fear to the people and adjust them from doing wrong.
You're also trusting God Almighty, as you said earlier.
Yeah. Worship of God moralizes people to do the right things at the right time, because the reward of doing good is there for you. So ancestral worship brings fear. Worship of God Almighty brings morality, goodwill, merciful. And so when you combine the two, you make a good human being that is admired and loved by God. Abraham was the ancestral father of Israel. He started with obedience, faith, sacrifice. You remember he fought a war to liberate his brother, Lot. And so the Israelites are keeping all this, plus the war. You don't touch the Israel man and go away. Because if Abraham stayed out of it, he should have lost his nephew, Lot. So what I am talking here is very simple. Our ancestral line don't want to see violence of any kind. And we are saying it openly to all Nsongwa people. Avoid violence, even verbal violence is not called for in Nsongwa. None of our people had ever practiced violence. And so, if you are a Nsongwa son and daughter, and you are doing violence, know that we are matured enough to start thinking about the ancestral line. If we have neglected it for some few years, it's because we wanted to remain under the mercy of God. Only because God is merciful. If you go now to ancestral lines, you should be very careful. All of them have been longing for this. The time has come for it.
Tell us about the land issues, land problems affecting Nsongwa with its neighbors and things like that.
Truly, we have a lot of land issues. And I think one of the biggest reasons why the land issues is because of ignorance. Ignorance. Many of our neighbors thought that we are the weaker community, so they can play over our land and go free. Now we have come to an age we also can talk and defend ourselves. The land they are claiming ownership over is the land under a map identified and used by administration, by the presidency. So until tomorrow, if the presidency will give us another decree using a different map, then they can claim ownership of our land. Because that is the highest authority of the land of Cameroon. And if they can recognize a map that we are using to defend our land, and any community is sitting on the land, is sitting on Nsongwa land, they should know they have to pay allegiance. They have to pay allegiance to the landlord. And that is simply it. We are not driving anybody from his house. There are communities that have built quarters and made quarter heads in others' land. And at the end of the day, when the law came out, they knew they were tenants and they have to pay allegiance to the landlords. So we are just saying this in a simple way to our neighbors to enjoy the peace we are enjoying by paying allegiance to their landlords. Simply that.
All right.
Although, unfortunately, we are in this era of the crisis. We are a little peaceful. We have not come out to identify any of these things for now. But as soon as things normalize, we are coming out with the maps that we have discovered, with the presidential decrees that we have discovered, showing the maps that we are using always and at all the time against all our neighbors. We have one map that this is our land.
And we shouldn't be having that. We should simply respect the boundaries, and because all these conflicts are not helping anybody. Sometimes lives are lost in such conflicts, and they don't go a long way to keep us together.
It's very true about that. And I think even under my own reign, why I told you my people forced me to go out for a few months to rest is because some of our neighbors even came out with guns And I told my people, we can never use gun for anything on earth in Nsongwa. They even came out with gun and thought that they would shoot. And you cannot be shooting a calm and quiet person. So they had to put back their guns in their backs because they did not see anybody they are facing. So we have the maps, we have the law on our side, and we don't see why we should be fighting. You are stronger if you have your rights. So we have the rights. So we are not fighting physically. You can't come to frighten a man who knows his right. So we have the powerful power that defends us. So we are waiting. And every time the time will arrive, we will indicate to them that you are sitting on somebody's land. Can you pay allegiance? And unfortunately, they may pay a little more higher because it will take too much time. So the earlier they recognize their landlords, the better. Because the time they have to pay in areas, it will be too much for them to pay. Because they must pay somehow, someday. There are no two ways. The right documents are seated there. They know, most of them know the document, but they think they can play with intelligence. Laws don't respect intelligence. Laws don't respect money. Laws don't respect people. They respect order that is laid down by the law.
The law is the law, and it should be respected. We're going to take some few interviews now. When we come back, we look at the development challenges in the Nsongwa land today. Stay with us. Interviews of the week.
I'm Rani Bell. A friend of mine invited me from Nigeria. It's about this quinox of a stuff, but she never told me that it's about this quinox of a stuff. She told me that if I come there, they're going to offer me a job, and from there, they're going to make me visa for me to travel. So I said, okay, there's no problem. So I collected money from my mom, which I traveled to Nigeria. When I arrived there, then I saw a different thing. Like the background she was using, my friend was using, it was a very fake background because they usually put them but inside the gate. So when I get there, I didn't even know how managed thing pass. I didn't even know. They told me to tell my parents for them to send money so that they can proceed the visa. Like my family was very happy. God has finally done it. But when I called my mom, they sent 2.5. When they sent 2.5 now, they said they'll do the visa. That's how we do. They take me, we'll travel to Ghana and we'll come back again. I asked them, are we not still traveling to the Canada? They said, no, we are not traveling. That let me call again, let them send 1 million because there are some process they're going to do. I still call my mom. My mom forwards me 1 million. That's 3.5, which they scam for me. So from there now, they start telling me to call different people to come and join the business. From there, when I will work, they'll start paying me. Then I will see a means to travel abroad. So that was how my own scamming of stuff come. It has really affected me a lot because one, my education, and two, my mom is down. My mom is a widow, so she suffered a lot to raise this money. And this was the money they were planning for me to go out to continue my education. But I really thank God for this link education. At least it has really done a lot for me.
My name is Chantal. I was come by a friend. I wanted to go and study in Canada. So she told me she have been in Canada actually. So she told me she have a line and she's going to help me through. She connected me to a guy. I talked with him. He first of all asked me for 2 million. I get him a 1.5. He said I can be paying the rest in bit, so he will start my document. He said the money required for everything will be 5.3 million. I said I cannot raise all the money at once. He said I can be giving it bit by bit. When it reaches a certain level, he's going to help me complete it. When I go there, I study. After some time, I'm going to pay him back the money. So when I gave the first money, the second money, I tried to tell my brother about it. So my brother went online, searched the school that they said I'm going to be there. There was nothing found. He tried to figure out to know more about the things they were telling me. Nothing was found, so that's how they went with my money. I went through depression because I had nobody to help me. I'm the one that raised my money through house helps. I knew it was going to help me when I was school abroad. I'm going to upgrade from where I was. I'm going to make my family proud because my dad is of late and my mom have struggled to help us, to send us to school, but she cannot afford to send me again to school. So it affected me in the way that I I give up that I will never leave Cameroon again. So link education makes me to understand that I can do everything by myself. There are websites that I can search to confirm, to verify if whatever they're telling me about the traveling line is a true story.
We would like to stand on the said platform that has been decided by the former president to continue to work with other political forces, to also reshuffle Union for Change, and to work with Cameroonians, because people should know that Union for Change is a deal between political parties and Cameroonians, not just between political parties themselves. So it's a deal between the parties and all Cameroonians. So we believe that we will continue with Union for Change in order to make Cameroonians stand up and fight for their rights. Not only recruiting new members, we are also out to try to identify the areas that we stand as candidates, also areas that other Cameroonians would like to stand, with which party, under which party they can stand for those elections. So we are preparing the elections, and he said, can I ask us to stand for these elections? So we not betray him, you see. So we make everything possible to go to stand for these elections.
You're welcome back. Now we are looking at development challenges in the Nsongwa land today and how the challenges can be addressed. What is needed to improve on the living conditions of the people in that part of the northwest region of the country. Your Majesty, edify us on the major development challenges in Nsongwa land today.
Our major challenge is human development. Our youths are able to sponsor themselves to the kind of institutions that they would love to go to. So human development is the biggest challenge Nsongwa people are having. We've been doing everything to say one more Nsongwa child to a university. We give the challenge to families, to individuals, and to elites of the land, and they have been doing their best. So we have that challenge. The second challenge is roads. When road leads, development follows. We don't have good roads. All the roads in Nsongwa are earth roads that are getting deteriorated every year. And with the tippers that are the heavy-duty trucks that are plying our road for sand and stone, we need the administration, the government to come in and make the road stronger, because we supply more than 50% of the sand and stone required to build Bamenda town, and even beyond to Santa, to Bambili, and so. So it's so difficult for us because the number of trucks that ply our roads per day it will not be less than 100 a day. So it's so heavy for the roads to carry. We need assistance. Most of our electricity is single phase or double phase, not three phase, and the population is fast growing. I think one of the quarters braved it all to raise 15 million to buy a big transformer for their quarter because they have suffered. The rest of the quarters may not be able to do that. So we think if we can be assisted in those areas, Nsongwa will be very proud of itself.
What about water? About water supply
has its own limits. Seasonally, during the heart of the dry season, we don't have enough water. The water we call that is supplying the whole of Bamenda is coming from part of our village, Nsongwa, but very little or none is being used by Nsongwa people. They carry it all to town. We have managed by our own means to supply our people with water. We need assistance in this area so we can get enough water. The Bamenda 2 Council has done some boreholes, but you know it has its own limitations. We need potable and drinkable water. And so if we can have assistance in these areas, the village will be moving gradually to the best.
Right. What about health facilities?
We've been struggling with that too, and we are blessed that we have Mary Elias Foundation, one of our wives who is in the U.S., that has been assisting the whole country, Cameroon, with medical equipment, usables, and permanent equipment. So we are looking forward to have something for our own village that will stand tall and strong to help us too. But for now, the government has done very little or nothing for us as health is concerned. But the number of institutions, the figure that we have as a population is clearly indicating that we need a befitting health center, which we are even ready to equip as much of it as possible through our illustrious daughter, Mary Elias Foundation, Marfo, Lovelin.
All right. What's the population of Nsongwa as of today?
The population, we have about 10,000 and above, and keep growing. The last census going on now, under this crisis, and we fear what is going on because very little of the population was contacted. Most of the people are crying that they
have not been counted, so the figures may not reflect the reality.
The figures will not reflect. Many of the people have not been contacted. You ask even a few Nsongwa people who are even here, they don't even know whether there's a census. So we don't know what to do with that. But all the same, the main population we know is what we are working with.
All right. Recently, there was a meeting in the nation's capital, Yaoundé, that brought together some of your subjects, including one of them who is apparently claiming right over the throne. Is there any chieftaincy conflict in Nsongwa today?
I am the founder of Nsongwa from 2000 officially, and my documents were given to me by Minad, signed by the Prime Minister 2010, and I am the founder of Nsongwa. If there were chieftaincy matters in Nsongwa, I should not stay in Nsongwa within the crisis. There is nothing. The meeting in Yaoundé was the Jouée and the Mansos family, who is related to my Gino brother, who is a police officer, misguided by probably his senses or few people, thinking that the tiger or the deer that has passed and running ahead of you, you can follow and catch it again. Those animals, they run too fast for you to ever have anything to do with them. If they have passed, I'll just turn your back and go home. He's chasing the shadow. Or chasing the winds. He can never catch up with the winds because the document is already in my hand as a law. So what is he talking about chieftaincy? His family went there to make him to calm down himself and see reason to come back and enjoy the village with all of us. He turned it around and called it chieftaincy, according to radios and television and papers. I don't know who came there. It was his mother's house that came to him and saying that the reason is very simple why they had to go. We are celebrating the last cry die of our father this December. He was not there at the beginning. He never celebrated our father's first cry die. And so they feel that if he doesn't come to join us celebrate the last cry die, curses will be following him. That's why the mother's house went there to bring him home. And he was making noise for what has nothing to do with us. I sent nobody there. It was his elder brother, one mother, elder sister, one mother. He is the last of that house because there are three of them. The two brothers came, Joué's family, and the Mansos family. They came there to let him understand that Nsongwa is a peaceful village And our ancestors laid the foundation for us to live together. We have no problem. So come home. So if he doesn't want to come home, he will be purporting chieftaincy crisis for 26 years, chieftaincy crisis. The whole administration of the Northwest know me as an open and very serviceable fund. The people in Yaoundé know me. What minister doesn't know me in Yaoundé? And I will be in Yaoundé soon to meet even the Prime Minister and other people for requests for assistance towards our celebration end of year, 25 years, and our Nekui. So he is also only advised here and now to be part of it. For all these years, he had been fighting a loose battle. Unfortunately for him, he always forget the name he was given. Nsongwa, war without backer, a person backing you. That is the name the mother gave him before my father refused and gave him Taka. He was called Nsongwa, means a war that has no backing. And he continued fighting with no backing. He's just suffering himself for nothing. And at the end of the day, he will not be celebrating with us if he doesn't come down himself and follow the advice of his family. And the celebration cannot be held down by any reason, for any reason. We have contacted the administration of the Northwest. We are only waiting on their own day that they will come to open the Synodio, because we are second-class fundum. And we are even soliciting the visit of the Minister of Territorial Administration. He had been absent for so long. Remember, I've told you that the best thing to have peace and love with their people is constant being with them. And so we want to imagine that our minister will come and celebrate with Nsongwa people. And he will show his presence in the Northwest with his own people again. And the one-on-one relationship has its own bearing. So thank you very much. We have nothing as chieftaincy in Nsongwa, and we have been moving very peacefully and lovely. Thank you very much for even asking this question.
Right, Your Majesty, you are in Douala. What is the purpose of your visit to Douala?
The visit to Douala was mainly so we will normally have our mid-year meetings every year to make plans and follow up of the plans we had at the end of the year for the development of that year. How far we've gone with the development of the year and what is left to be done, so we can follow up and make sure we do what we were assigned as leaders of the village to do. So this year, our focus is on the Nekui and 25th anniversary on the throne of Nsongwa by FONGWADE III. This star village of ours want to showcase our tradition and culture. We want to make the Northwest proud. We have assisted one fundum or the other, and I think those fundums are so proud of us, because when Nsongwa does it, they are happy that we were there. And so this is the time we want to showcase who really we are. Because when you see us out there, you may not know much about us. So we came in here to fine-tune some of those things that we've done. The fabric for the occasion is already out. The magazine is about to be completed. All the committees are in place working. And so the beautiful thing about it is that all those who will be chance to come to Nsongwa will be proud of themselves that they have come to see a culture that is so beautiful. We want to fine-tune it and make it beautiful. That's why we came here, just to let everybody put his best, his or her own best, in doing whatever assignment that has been given to you, so that we get the best for our region.
Your Majesty, as we wrap up this edition of the program, I want you to look straight into this camera in front of you and send words to your younger brother, who seems to be on the other side, not agreeing with the fact that you are on the throne and you've been there for over 26 years now, and the whole people of Nsongwa, all your subjects, you can speak to them in the local language, in the language of the Nsongwa people if you want.
Mbaso zana. Magami ya kambo ngwimba ke singawi ya njuzi si nambo bagana tanga. Anu zunga mbaso ombo fo mbaso. Kamba so tiye na zongna danga, bongwa danga. Mbon mbaso dinga bezo fo la bezo. Fo mbaso ngangnana bi na lung magamba yanku singa. Bagna bitim kan toka anganga la azarna fiyala. Ba ba abubunan toka bin kan ma so tinzim abu kwanda ngwar ajwe ngwar ma so baka ge yaunde asun ambo taka azon zimaza akwi barzian to ga kwe ngin tanka itiyen nuwan anwataye ba fa aba tawar na biyana fongu musin wara senju be ngaga ke ngaya ke enju be ati esunga ba ma angaran zimzila nga ma we ma angar ngo police ati tengar wa tentenen sa den gona ka tongnala be beti ma den gona ngo police ati ma we ngake bas on la an fon la am bona kam bas o kon wanto kam bas o kon wa zongna akwe tanga bagna tsishi ne ndorka be tonga zia maka tota abin bunga maga bia bin ya danga tuko danga anufu awiye kan wote ti gwaye mbaso andorka lungwiye mbaso binna gabati ye no ngana kuye lungwiye mbaso kuye ka basu e bengo mkuye be takatu kon kuye gongo ye bin zigizie mbaso kuye mba fa ba ta wona ka biana la bagna vrga ba ti tongwi bagna kuina ko mi yin sombo menga makwikin kama kuya kama yin sungai government ambo mbaso nga ba kwikin ka ba kuyewa government tike sungan wa ke kuye mo kuya ba lung ba on don fa wa fa na mbaso zene do lunga ba tigna njin don fa aba fa na alabo ndon dorka kan wote ti sungai nga ba ke dorka ba lon dorka benga be an kong sa lo tuga si ngota si bunga musunguziet tuga tante bunzie ko so mbaso dorka ben ba anwa bo gana ka ben dorka ben ba anwa ba government gana bo mbaso so be oti aya onde bung ba ben ba tengwa atenga na si gwen nkunwa nuote bung ba musabun kunwa nya tambo ina dornin kangeta nanbie ne kwe borsin tingon kwe ka ngomba so te ndon yinso ka ngomba so te akongo ya azongna ka ngomba so te kongo futo donga barna tito tantu nkyangtel azarna anwuti makwe ta barna kyangtin baso abege nimbie betinya azo kwate ba no fa anto o ko tungon kwate aba ka le tena taworna an tunya no fon la fo wa ku na o kana kuyi kan be nwo taka o kuyi na be nwo nso tinzim o kuyi na be nwo kwe nginga zo kwate abana kyangtin la azarna nge nimbie ko langa a fere gaba a fere a fontin za muke kwata note olbe tambar manzu muke kwata kwengi barna ti kyangten ju zarna mu yemu kwato ntingo bon o kwengi barna kyangten la zarna kyangten ju zarna o numman to o tigna zo di an ye kwato o jinu meya.
How I wish I could understand. Your Majesty, we've come to the end of this conversation, and we thank you for making our time to be part of this edition of The Insight. Thank you so much for your time and the insight you've shared with us today.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful. God bless you. God promote and bless your program and your television.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us. God bless Nsongwa. God bless Cameroon. Goodbye.